Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Welcome to Financial Fitness Northwest, coming at you live on 1150 KKNW. I'm your host, Sarah Riley.
And I'm your co-host, Patricia Johnson. We're the Riley Johnson team.
Woohoo!
Go team.
Good afternoon, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's our goal to help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor, we can help.
We strongly believe in giving back and empowering our community, and it is our hope to provide our listeners with local charities and business to bring solutions to your daily life and provide you with opportunities to give back to your community as well.
Yes. So, thank you guys for tuning in this week to our show. What's going on, Mom? Oh, Patricia's my mom. Sidebar.
Yeah,
I know.
Mom.
If you're a new listener.
Yeah, we like you to know that just in case you.
I dropped the mom bomb.
So I don't know, Memorial Day weekend, it was absolutely amazing.
I
so
know.
Beautiful.
I'm laughing because I'm picturing Patricia, Mom. We have property in Eastern Washington. It's our Cabo. It's called Orondo. And she was there, and we were at home with the boat in our driveway because we had to get it winterized or de-winterized. And my husband cleaned it, and there's a few things he's really anal about. One of them is the boat. Mm-hmm. And so it was like a 2-day process in like 85-degree heat. He's detailing this boat, and then the kids want to play outside with water balloons, and and he was like, don't let them get the water balloons near the boat. And here I'm outside telling the kids, don't get the boat wet. Like, I sound crazy. But
yeah, that's
not even the craziest thing. The craziest thing is that we did proceed to have happy hour in the boat, in the driveway.
Well, and because we got pictures, so it's like we weren't even gone. Movie night and sleepover in the driveway, in the boat.
Yeah. Well, I didn't sleep in the boat, but the kids did. And my husband, I think he thought it would be really fun, but
was not sleep.
So
not so much sleeping involved, right?
He's like, that dang street light. He's got these blankets all across the boat trying to block the street light. It's an open bow wakeboard boat, okay? It's not a yacht. So there was
just sleeping out there under the street light.
Oh, man. This is so
funny.
Cute. Yeah. Anyways, that's us. We're those neighbors.
Yeah. Well, it was fun in Eastern Washington, very hot with no boat, but we took our bikes, went for a fun ride, golfed, and
sounds lovely.
Checked everything out because we literally had not been there for 8 months. And so note to self, should have known this because grew up in Spokane, but even though we're over here in Western Washington where it's raining every day, it is not necessarily raining there. And unfortunately, all our sod that we laid last year is now toast. It is crunchy brown. So we went and got fertilizer and seed, and we turned on the irrigation to go 6 times a day, and we're trying to revitalize it. But
we're going to drown that sucker till it grows green.
We're talking about painting it for this summer, maybe.
Yeah, you do what you got to do. I'm down with the painting. Does it come off on your clothes?
I don't know.
You're like, get up from sunbathing. Your whole back is green.
I don't know. I've never painted grass before, so I'm not really sure.
Well,
but
we'll be finding out here shortly.
We will. We're going to give it the old try and see if we can bring it back. But
we should do some designs. We could put our logo, the Riley Johnson team logo, in our yard.
Hey.
We could do loans out of our trailer.
I don't know. Good.
We have travel trailers, just so you know. It's not like a trailer. We haven't built yet. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that was a pretty eventful Memorial Day weekend. Mm-hmm. Other than that, anything else going on this week?
No, just it's a short week, so it's going fast.
Yeah. Yep. I was supposed to be at a field trip today.
Yes, you were.
For the zoo, but unfortunately I was injured at the book fair. For my volunteering for my daughter.
I've heard the book fairs can be very dangerous places.
If anyone's going to get injured at a book fair, it's definitely going to be me.
It is definitely you, yeah.
I called Randy and I said, you're never going to believe, you're probably going to believe what just happened to me. I just broke my toe at the book fair. I'm hoping I get out of my volunteer hours because I can't even walk. I literally dropped 3 solid wood shelves, picking up boxes onto my toe. And it's pretty bad. I couldn't walk on my... You made me go to urgent care.
Yeah,
Mom.
I did. It looked terrible. It does look terrible, but it's not broken.
No.
It's just very...
Severe tissue damage.
Very, very sore. And now you have another boot. You got a short boot and a tall boot.
It's just a little shoe. Or whatever. Well, we won't be able to hike up this Friday, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, I can't talk about our hike.
But we are... Carly, our producer, is helping us getting our website up and coming. So we will have, I think, hopefully by next week. So look for that on the website so you can see about helping us raise money as we hike to have money to contribute to the charities that come in, right?
Yep. More on that later.
More to come. So thank you guys so much. We're so excited for today's guest we have in studio. First up, when we come back from commercial, we're going to be talking to Sheri Putzke, a seasoned Windermere real estate agent who can teach us everything we need to know about buying new construction. And then on the second half of today's show, we have Julio Cortes with Cocoon House, who works with high-risk homeless youth and their families in Snohomish County. So stay tuned to find out about any topics discussed or learn more about guests we have in studio. You can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Homelessness has become a crisis in our communities, and youth homelessness is on the rise all over Washington State. It's time to come together and break the cycle of homelessness. Learn how Cocoon House, a local nonprofit serving at-risk and homeless youth, is breaking the cycle of homelessness in our community by visiting cocoonhouse.org or calling 425-259-8502, extension 103.
Are you looking for an edge in this competitive real estate market? Sheri Putzke with Windermere Real Estate is here to help. A top agent on the east side with 12 years local experience and over 70 closed transactions in 2016. She can expertly help you navigate the sale of your existing home for top dollar or the purchase of your next. Sheri's success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she greatly values the relationships that continue well after the keys exchange hands. There's no shortage of agents out there. Make sure you're working with the one that has your best interests at heart. If you're ready to love where you live, please contact Sheri for a no-cost consultation at 425-749-6703 or visit her website at SheriPutzke.com. That's SheriPutzke.com to learn more about how she can help you achieve your real estate goals.
Bringing good vibes to the Puget Sound and the world. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. Next up on our show, we have Sheri Putzke. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you.
Sheri is ranked the top realtor in both sales and volume in Kirkland-Redmond area. She's consistently earned a 5-star professional rating in Seattle Magazine from both her clients and peers. When working with buyers, Sheri is dedicated to helping them find and procure just the right property. For sellers, she creates a well-organized marketing strategy that maximizes their property's value by positioning their home to stand out in the marketplace. Sheri is a longtime resident of the East Side with over 12 years' experience in both new construction and residential resale throughout the greater Seattle area. Sheri's motto, stay humble, work hard, be kind, which is why her success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she greatly values the friendships that continue well after the keys exchange hands.
Indeed.
So we're excited to have you, Sheri.
Thank you again. Welcome. I love your motto.
I do too.
Thank you.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's perfect. So tell us, how did you get into real estate?
Actually, I got into it as a result of my husband. He is a builder.
Oh, okay.
And he originally had a partner in his business, and his wife, his partner's wife was an agent. And when my husband bought out his partner, I got my license and have been doing it ever since.
Nice. So do you guys do a lot of business together?
We do. He's a small builder, so he just does a couple of houses a year. So he's a small part of my business, but he's a great member of my team and a good resource for me, and hopefully I am to him as well.
Yeah, I bet. So is that what got you into, primarily new construction then?
Not necessarily. When I joined Windermere, I started working new construction for builders and sat site. Mm-hmm. And that's how I grew my business, just an opportunity to meet unrepresented buyers, and whether that particular community was a fit for them or not, I had the opportunity to work with them elsewhere and help them find the perfect home.
Right. I was kind of thinking that maybe you met your husband because you became a realtor and you were sitting site on one of his for his homes, but it didn't happen that way, huh? So you met him and then you got in the industry after.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're such a romantic mom. You're like making up a
I know. I was ready for a really good story.
I can go with that.
I even wrote it down in my notes like, I'm going to ask about how you met your husband. But then now you just clarified. So.
Well, so can you talk to us a little bit about the differences from new construction to resale?
There's a lot of differences, but just to highlight a few of them, oftentimes the timeline is quite different. Mm-hmm. In a resale purchase, you're oftentimes, if finance, looking at a 30 to 45-day closing. New construction, if you buy pre-sale, it can be 12 to 18 months in some cases. There's not a lot of finished new construction product in this market. Yeah. That can be a shorter timeline, more typical of the 30 to 45 days. But again, pre-sale is much longer. Another difference is the opportunity to customize. And again, the more customization, the earlier you are in the process. Sometimes that can be a structural change, converting a loft to another bedroom, and a third bay of a garage to a main floor bedroom. And smaller things like granite and kitchen upgrades and things of that nature. So that's a lot of fun for buyers. And one of the primary differences between new and resale is the warranty that the builders oftentimes offer, and it can be very attractive to new home buyers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of nice. So, you're not going out there and acquiring your land and building your house. They're building it for you with their plans, but you do have the ability to make some structural changes.
Right, so pick your plan, pick your home site.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's exciting.
It is. Yes, very
You just
fun.
have to wait for it.
You do have to wait. Yes, there is that.
So do you find, there's a lot of a little bit more customized builders that do that, and I think from what I've seen, there are a lot of smaller builders now. It seems like there's more than there used to be.
Market's
and then there's,
good. Sure.
And then there's just the few, big nationals. So
Right.
Do you work with any of the big nationals as much, or is it more the...
I do. I work with both big and small, and the process is quite different with both of them on many levels. The contracts are different. Mm-hmm. The whole experience for the buyer, and you're right, custom is different than spec. Custom is, I have this piece of land. Mr. Builder, can you help me build my dream home on it? Whereas spec is a little bit more defined in terms of what your options are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's been my experience with the bigger national builders that they're kind of like, a little bit more cookie cutter. They don't let you
Yes.
have the design freedom that you might with a little bit more customized builder.
It does vary from one builder to the next. Some
Mm-hmm.
offer more customization than others, but you're right.
Yeah.
We just had clients that purchased a home in Black Diamond, and it was a small community, I think 10 houses, and they did some really cool custom things in there, which I thought was so cool because then their house, it's in this, little neighborhood where they all look similar, but they had some really neat architectural details in the home that the builder let them do. They just, Pinterested, I guess, and came up with these really cool ideas. So I'd never seen that before. I mean, they literally turned a garage, a drive-through garage. Their garage has 2 doors. They're in their backyard and in their front yard.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
a huge garage. Yeah, my husband was very jealous, but yeah. So I mean, I think that's unique. You don't really see that. I think this market, because you have smaller builders, is really nice for new home buyers to have
Yeah,
those
you can
options.
make your home more of a reflection of you versus some builders. This is our beige template, and
Right.
Exactly. The old cookie cutter. And
right.
Well, what about timeline? Let's talk a little bit about what people can expect. I have someone right now actually who's making an offer on a Pulte home.
Okay.
And they are releasing so many lots, right? And so they gave them a timeline of February to August of 2018.
Oh, wow.
It's all about flexibility. It really is. And oftentimes the builders are at the mercy of the cities. And so many times when they release home sites, they don't have the permit for the home. And oftentimes the city will set an expectation that it's a 6 to 8 week turn time, and when in fact it takes 10 to 12 and sometimes longer, which obviously impacts the final product. And that's just the city timeline. And then once you start construction, obviously it's very active market right now, and contractors get behind schedule or the schedule slips, and it impacts the whole timeline. So you do need to be flexible, and many times, as you said, when you sign that contract, it's an estimate for that closing date, and in many cases you don't get an actual closing date till you're about 60 days from completion. So it does take some flexibility.
Yeah.
So if you have a house to sell, that can be a little bit tricky, right?
Well,
the timing of that?
Yes, exactly. Kind of a blessing and a curse. And if the market's appreciating, maybe you end up getting more for your home as a result of having waited. But yes, doing that finite timing with a sale, especially if you need those funds out of the house, can be, like you said, a little bit tricky.
A little bit tricky.
Builders are more apt to accept a contingent offer versus a resale property. Is that fair to say? Or
Well, in a pre-sale, yes, because obviously you have more than enough time to sell the home, and it's a hot market for sellers, and so the likelihood of selling the home is much higher. So there's less risk for sure for the builder,
which is nice for people that have to sell their home first, because it's really hard out there no one's accepting contingent offers.
In the resale market,
Right,
you're
in the
right.
resale
You don't
market.
stand a chance, and that's another benefit of buying new
draw.
versus, yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about financing.
Yes.
And how that can really differ between resale and presale.
Yeah, quite a few differences. Generally, when a lender provides a quote, a rate quote, it's good for 60 days. And if you buy pre-sale, you might need, well, usually people float their rate, assuming that there's no expectation of a significant increase. Some lenders do offer an extended rate lock, which sometimes buyers, if they're concerned about or they're tight on their margins, they might be inclined to go with an extended rate lock option. Sometimes there's a preferred lender with the specific builders. Usually the larger builders sometimes have that. Sometimes there's incentives for using that and using them rather, and other times not. So it is a little bit different process with financing new construction.
Yeah, we we kind of like to. I mean, a lot of the nationals, they actually have their own in-house lender that is, a branch of their company, which is always interesting to me. But
Sure.
Especially with all the compliance and so forth that is out there. But we've found that depending on who the builder is, many times, Caliber, because we do have a builder platform, we can compete with what maybe their preferred lender is doing. But do you see that the builders are having a harder time enforcing, saying you have to go with our lender to get this discount?
I don't think they can actually say that you have to. Oftentimes they require an application with them,
right?
And they want to compete, obviously, for the business. But most buyers will shop, right? I mean, they're value oriented, and they'll take into consideration what the builder is offering, but oftentimes speak with other lenders as well to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, which is a good thing to do, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
And Caliber does have long-term locks. So
yes. And one other thing too, since you were on that pre-qualification, we actually with our program, when we do a pre-approval up front, we don't have to recheck docs and reapprove them when if it's 4 months down the road.
Right.
We don't have to redo that. So that really can help too in case someone's situation maybe is changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it just makes the process a lot simpler for the client because they get underwritten initially before their home's even done, and then that's it.
Right. Well, oftentimes the financing contingency with the builders is quite short too, so they would want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But a lot of times lenders will do that, but then towards the end they go back and re-underwrite the loan and require all updated documentation, whereas Caliber does not.
We do not do that.
Yeah.
That is great.
So it makes it really nice. But I think I definitely having a conversation with the lender and finding out what their rate options are, because I think that's a huge factor.
Yeah.
Being able to long-term lock in this market.
Absolutely.
What about earnest money? Sometimes I've seen the earnest money quite a bit higher with new construction.
It is.
Yeah.
It varies. And I see the full spectrum, oftentimes 5% for, and that gets released early into the contract on a pre-sale. It's non-refundable after sometimes as early as 45 days on a 6-month, 8-month, 12-month contract.
Wow.
So, yes, that's something that you want to keep in mind.
Definitely on a high-priced home, that could be a lot of money.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Of course, I think the builders putting, it's a good faith gesture, right? And
Absolutely.
if you're serious, it's all going to your down payment. So
right, and buyers are making custom options, and that depending upon what those options are, may or may not make the house easy to resell in the event of buyer default. So they certainly are entitled to that in that unlikely scenario.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what about inspection?
That's a good question. A lot of times people don't assume that you would need an inspection with new construction. Obviously, the city is inspecting the home throughout the construction phase, but it's really important, and a lot of builders are great about working with a buyer inspection. Most builders do a walkthrough prior to closing, but things come up in the inspection. In the walkthrough with your builder, you're not down in the crawl space, you're not up in the attic, you're not walking on your roof. You want to make sure that somebody else is looking out in those areas on your behalf, and the builders are great about addressing things that need to be taken care of. So I strongly, strongly encourage buyers to do that.
So they would do an inspection like towards the close,
Exactly.
the home being completed, like at closing almost, right?
Just prior to, exactly. Okay. Usually before that walkthrough, so that you can discuss those items with your builder during the walkthrough.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know that I've had anyone do an inspection on new construction.
I have, and I had one where they discovered something major, and it was so many years ago, I can't remember. I mean, I think it was something like the sewer wasn't hooked up properly, or, I mean, it was some kind of major thing. And it, when you think about it, we're all just humans, right? Everybody's doing a job.
Sure,
and
right.
even though it's new, someone could miss something, just like,
Absolutely.
So,
I have had water come through light fixtures in the kitchen during an inspection just because the plumbing wasn't hooked up in the master bathroom upstairs. I have found, or an inspector has found, no insulation in the attic. You'd be surprised. Things come up, and it's just great to have an extra set of eyes on things to avoid any surprises.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the other side of that, too, is that, you're so excited, the buyer's so excited about their new home, and, they're doing their walkthrough.
Right.
They do a walkthrough, right?
Yes.
And they might not be noticing things that an inspector is going to notice, because they're just like, oh, I'm going to put my this here, and my couch is going to go there.
Absolutely.
They're
Their
not really.
head is elsewhere, for sure.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So why is it, let's talk about working with an agent that's familiar in new construction and what value you bring versus working with someone that, doesn't have that expertise.
Sure. I think your point, Patricia, regarding the walkthrough is a good one. Buyers don't know what to look for, and it's the little blue tape items. It's the questions to ask about the process. What happens once I have the keys and I have issues with my home. So that's one point. Another would be the contracts are often quite different that the builders use versus on a resale transaction. And so just being familiar with those contracts and the process So it's both the understanding the product, the house, and the construction process, and the process are very different in resale. And working with an agent that understands that and can help walk the buyer through it, I think, is really valuable.
Right. I think even more so than that, too. I mean, it's a long process, right?
It can be,
and
certainly.
If it, and so having someone advocating for you and like your liaison between the builder, because I just had the guy that's actually making an offer on this Pulte home. He was just going to go straight through them. And I said, no, you need to have someone advocating for you.
Exactly.
Right?
Working on your behalf.
Yeah,
Yes.
that understands the process.
Correct.
Otherwise, it could, I'm sure, get really overwhelming. And there's, money you could leave on the table, things you could miss, right?
Absolutely.
Because there is still negotiations to be had for upgrades and things like that throughout the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's really important to work with an expert like
Indeed.
yourself.
Yes, indeed.
And so when you're working with someone that is purchasing a new home, you're there doing do you do the frame walk and do you do all the walks with them?
I do. I really do. If they want me there, I'm absolutely there. I'll go to the design studio with them too. I like to just be able to answer questions. A lot of times people are wondering if it makes sense to spend the extra money to add the granite and the countertop. Where is my best return on investment? And I'm happy to be involved in that process.
Yeah, I think that's like a huge benefit too.
I think so, too.
Just and plus since you're I'm sure being in new construction and your husband's a builder and all that, I mean, you're just so connected to that whole world where other people just probably, they're not going to know.
Yeah, if a buyer hasn't been through that process before, it's very different. I mean, they might not know what a truss or a foundation or a fascia is, and just understanding those components and walking a buyer through the process, I think, is really valuable.
Yeah, I agree. And just knowing I think what you said about getting your return on the things you put into the house
Absolutely.
is really huge. Because, I mean, as a buyer, we just want all the new fancy things. We don't know what's really going to get us the best return in the market.
Certainly.
So let's talk about the benefits of new construction. Obviously, having a brand new house is a benefit. No one's ever lived in or
No
farted
fixer-upper.
in. Yeah.
Exactly.
What are the other benefits?
Well, I mean, it's a tough market. I mean, new construction can be a nice reprieve from this crazy resale market that we have. And so less likelihood of a multiple offer situation. They do still happen, but again, not quite as commonly as the resale market. And the fact that it's new, like you said, I mean, everything is clean and never been used before, and pretty. Buyers like that, obviously.
You also have a little bit of ability to, like you said before, customize it a little bit versus buying a home that's, done.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, just
so
like I said,
put your touches
making
on it.
Yes, exactly. A reflection of yourself. Oftentimes, especially in this market with prices appreciating like they do, many times my clients have had equity in their home by the time they've closed on their home. Just because you pay the price at contract, you have a 12-month build time, and the market's gone up during that time, and I see that quite commonly, which is a nice little perk.
Oh, that's a huge perk, especially if you're, if it's a multi houses in the plat, and you're one of the first ones, right?
Yes,
you're really gonna get the most benefit
for sure,
bang for your buck.
Yeah,
little
definitely.
inconvenience with construction if you're an early bird, but definitely benefits in the long term.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you,
I Sheri. That was
having me.
Yeah, that was really great information.
Really informative.
So thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we will have Julio Cortes with Cocoon House, who works to help and provide support for the at-risk and homeless youth and their families in Snohomish County. To find out more about topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Are you looking for an edge in this competitive real estate market? Sheri Putzke with Windermere Real Estate is here to help. A top agent on the east side with 12 years local experience and over 70 closed transactions in 2016. She can expertly help you navigate the sale of your existing home for top dollar or the purchase of your next. Sheri's success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she greatly values the relationships that continue well after the keys exchange hands. There's no shortage of agents out there. Make sure you're working with the one that has your best interests at heart. If you're ready to love where you live, please contact Sheri for a no-cost consultation at 425-749-6703 or visit her website at sheriputzke.com. That's SHERIPUTZKE.com to learn more about how she can help you achieve your real estate goals. Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the Ultimate Home Buying Experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Homelessness has become a crisis in our communities, and youth homelessness is on the rise all over Washington State. It's time to come together and break the cycle of homelessness. Learn how Cocoon House, a local nonprofit serving at-risk and homeless youth, is breaking the cycle of homelessness in our community by visiting cocoonhouse.org or calling 425-259-8502, extension 103.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We provide our listeners with information from business professionals to bring solutions to your daily life and local charities to provide you with the opportunity to give back to your community as well. Now in studio, we have Julio. He has been working with at-risk and homeless youth population for the last 8 years in different capacities. Currently, Julio is in the public relations marketing manager position for Cocoon House, a local nonprofit serving at-risk and homeless youth and their families in Snohomish County. He is a board member for the Everett Diversity Board, a board member with the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance, and a commissioner at the Linwood Health and Human Services Commission. He graduated from Western Washington University with a public relations and journalism degree in 2009, and he now lives in Lake Stevens with his wife. Welcome, Julio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Cocoon House.
Yeah, so Cocoon House is a local nonprofit that serves at-risk and homeless youth and their families. The youth we serve are between the ages of 12 to 24, and we provide outreach, housing, and prevention services to these individuals. We've been around for over 25 years now, and operate 5 different facilities in Snohomish County, although we do serve quite a bit of youth that come from outside of the county.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how do you guys find the youth that you serve?
We do a lot of outreach. So we do have an outreach program that we operate in Snohomish County. It starts off through a one-stop shop. It's called our U-Turn Drop-In Center. Mm-hmm. And that drop-in center is a low-barrier drop-in center, which means that any youth ages 12 to 24 can go in and get a warm meal to eat, get some clothes, some hygiene packs. We have shower facilities, laundry facilities that they could use. And really, if they just want to go in and get a warm meal and leave, they're more than welcome to do that. We're just that door that never closes for those youth. So sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to develop trust and relationship with these youth, especially if they've been, homeless for a few years. They've been let down by so many other systems, by possibly their families and friends. So this outreach drop-in center allows us to kind of build that trust and relationship with them that we need in order for us to be able to provide services to them.
I was just wondering, so how is the the homelessness with youth, is it going down? Is it going up? I mean, is this a...
Unfortunately, it's rising. Over the last few years, we've seen a steady increase in homeless youth. In 2016, Snohomish County School Districts reported over 3,200 homeless students. This year, the last year, it went up to 3,700 homeless students. Now, that's already a pretty big number for, these are teenagers that are homeless out on the streets in our communities. But Cocoon House works with hundreds of other youth each year that haven't been to school in a couple of years. So we're working with 16, 17-year-olds who haven't been to school in 2 or 3 years, and they weren't even counted in that number.
Wow.
So the need is definitely there. We do, a lot of street outreach as well. So we have a team of outreach members that will go out to every single community and city in Snohomish County with backpacks full of clothes, hygiene packs, and information on Cocoon House. And we go to what we call hotspots. So, skate parks, under bridges, under certain grocery stores. And we make contact with these youth. And we touch about 16,000, we make contact with about 16,000 youth each year.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So of all those students that are homeless, I mean, they're homeless, but they're still attending high school. Mm-hmm. And they're just living on the streets, or?
Yes. So, we get clients all the time that, have been going to school, but have been sleeping in cars or motels. Youth homelessness is very difficult to identify. It's not like the typical homeless adult. They're not wearing the typical homeless attire. They're not hanging out in the typical homeless areas. Youth homeless usually couch surf a lot. So from family to family, they'll be couch surfing. They stay in cars or hotel rooms. Okay. So I think the stat is up to like 75% of homeless students end up dropping out of high school because, they're not worried about really doing homework. They're more worried about where they're going to sleep that night or what they're going to eat. Right. So we do see a lot of youth who unfortunately have to drop out of school in order to, survive and meet their basic needs first.
Wow. So I kind of hear you saying that they're harder to identify because maybe they're kind of put together, right? They might not look dress-wise and so forth that much different than any other student in school.
Exactly. They're still going to school. They're still teenagers, so they want to look and act just like their peers. Mm-hmm. It's a very difficult situation for them to be in. The average age a teen becomes homeless is 14 and a half.
Oh, my gosh.
So, imagine yourself as a 14 and a half-year-old having to be out on the street. You get very desperate, and you're very susceptible to somebody's going to try and sexually exploit you, which we see, unfortunately, quite often. Gang members will try to approach you, and 80% of the youth that are doing drugs and alcohol, they don't start until after they've already been homeless. And it's just a way for them to cope with the traumas that they're experiencing out on the streets. It might just be a way for them to cope with them being cold.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So what's causing these kids to be homeless? What's like the driving factor?
So we serve approximately 2,500 youth each year. Every youth has their own story, their own trauma that they go through that cause them to be homeless. The majority of the youth that we serve, I think, is from family dysfunction. A lot of the community sometimes think that the homeless youth are homeless because they're drug addicts or they're gang members or they're criminals, right? Mm-hmm. But for the most part, the vast majority of the youth that Cocoon House serves, they're good kids. They're just maybe escaping from sexual abuse in the home. They're escaping domestic violence, or their family becomes homeless, which is another. Low-income housing has been very difficult to find for a lot of families. Mm-hmm. A lot of families are a paycheck away from not being able to pay their mortgage or pay their rent and end up on the street together. And when a family becomes homeless, the teen becomes homeless. And there's not a whole lot of organizations that are able to house the family and a teenager in the same location. So a lot of the times, separation of the family has to happen in order for everybody to be housed.
Wow, that is so heart-wrenching. I mean, you're already in this heart-wrenching situation, and then your family is split up because you have to, just because of available services.
Mm-hmm. Right, and so definitely availability of affordable housing is a big issue that we've been seeing increase. It's not just just a King County issue. It's not just a Snohomish County issue. It's happening all over the place. But King County and Snohomish County have been very difficult for low-income individuals to find a house that they can afford.
Wow. So do you guys provide, what services do you provide? Do you provide housing for teens? Or
We do. So we provide two emergency shelters for youth ages 12 to 17. These are for teens who get kicked out of the home, who run away from the home, or who have been chronically homeless for a longer period of time and are not ready to receive services. So they're able to stay there for 14 days. One of the biggest goals we have at those emergency shelters is to return that youth back home if at all possible. We do a lot of family reconciliation services. We provide our prevention program to parents, so parenting classes, parenting support groups, parenting seminars where we teach the parents how their youth brain is developing, what traumas that youth may be experiencing outside of the home that may be contributing to traumas in the home, like social media bullying, stresses in school. And we just want to make sure that the parents have all the tools that they need in order to keep that family unit together and strong. So one of our biggest goals is prevention, keeping that youth in the home and keeping them away from our shelters. And 87% of the teens that come to the Way Out seminars with their parents, we never see in our shelters. And that's what we're trying to do, is avoid those teens using our emergency shelters.
It's working.
Yeah, so that's why we're trying to do that as much as possible. If we're not able to return that youth back home, and that does happen often, again, sometimes the parents are homeless, so there's really nowhere for us to return them to. We also operate a transitional living program where youth are able to stay up until their 18th birthday. And the average stay there is about 16 months. And we provide life skills to the youth. So anything from how to fry an egg or how to do your laundry to how to open and manage your own checkings and savings account.
Wow.
We get a lot of awesome kids there that, start talking at 18, I'm just going to go, I'll get a job. I want an apartment, probably like a 2-bedroom apartment in case I have any visitors. I want it close to downtown Seattle. And, that's a learning opportunity for them, because then we teach them, well, this is how much rent's going to be. This is how much you're going to have to probably put down a deposit. They always want pets. Well, this is how much pet rent's going to be. So we try to make sure that when they leave Cocoon House, they leave with tools that they're going to be needing to become productive members of their communities and successful adults. We're trying to make sure that through our housing programs, our prevention programs, and our outreach programs, we're breaking that cycle of homelessness. We're trying to catch them young before they may become chronically homeless adults that we see out on the streets.
Right.
Well, how do you identify them? Like, obviously prevention is the key, but how do you identify before they get to that point?
So through our outreach program, we make a lot of contact. We also have great partnerships with almost every single high school and middle school in the county. We have other partnerships with hospitals, with Boys and Girls Clubs, with YMCA. So we get a lot of youth referred to us, but we are a youth-led organization. So we need those youth to want the services in order for us to provide them the services. But we have great case managers, great Cocoon House employees that are trained in a lot of different aspects of youth trauma to make connections with those youth. Because, again, building trust and relationship with these teens who have gone through all these different traumatic experiences in their lives is very important for us to be able to is important for them to be able to trust us enough to provide services to them.
Yeah, I'm sure that's key, because trust is kind of hard with kids anyway. Sometimes they're just not that trusting, but when they've been hurt or, I'm sure it takes a lot to build that.
Yeah, it really does. And like I said earlier, we're not an organization that's just reacting to the problem. We're not just working with homeless youth, but we will also want to make contact with parents and at-risk youth. Even if there's just even if the teen is not working with us directly, any parents can call our hotline, our prevention hotline, and get connected to services that they're going to be able to use to keep that youth in the home.
Wow, that's so great. Do you guys reach out to schools and stuff then to help identify kids that need help? I mean, did the schools contact you?
Yeah, so we also have 4 advocates that are basically mobile case managers. So Snohomish County is a very big county, very rural in some areas. So these 4 advocates are divided geographically throughout Snohomish County. So we have a North County, South County, East County, and a Central County advocate. These advocates go out to their area and make contact with schools, law enforcement agencies, fire departments, libraries, just to make sure that they know that if they come into contact with any youth that's in any kind of dangerous or critical situation, they can call us. And through our Safe Place program, we're actually able to go out and pick that teenager up from anywhere in Snohomish County and bring him back to one of our emergency shelters until we can return him back home. So if the youth can also call the Safe Place hotline themselves, if they just got kicked out of the home and have nowhere else to go, they can call us. If they're walking home from school and there's maybe a gang or something that's kind of picking on them or saying stuff, they can give us a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whether it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., somebody will answer that phone, get their location, and go and pick that youth up.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is. How much staff do you have to be able to provide that kind of 24-hour service?
You know, we're growing very rapidly. We're trying to catch up with demand. Right now we have approximately 96 staff. All of our housing units operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we have overnight staff. They never close. So that's kind of, a lot of the staff are part-time. And we also have administrative staff that keeps the lights on and tries to raise money for the youth that we serve.
Right. That was my next question. What do you guys need? What can people do to help?
Well, obviously, as a nonprofit, funds are always
money.
Show me
important.
the money.
Yeah, we need money. That's what we need. And 77 cents to every dollar goes directly to that youth. So, providing them with drug and alcohol counseling, mental health counseling, putting shoes and socks on their feet. And the other is administrative, which, still helps because, we're keeping the lights on in these buildings. But about 60% of our funding comes from the community. The community puts on events. We just had an event at Everett High School. The teens there put on a Battle of the Talents for us.
Oh, wow.
A lot of talent in the high school. It was a fun show. But, they charge an entrance fee. They sell T-shirts. And then that money raised goes to Cocoon House. And 40% comes from state, federal, and local grants.
Wow. So money.
And we also have volunteer opportunities. Cooking meals for our sites is one. And during certain seasons, also doing some yard work for us helps quite a bit because we have one guy that's responsible for our 5 facilities.
Oh, wow.
He's busy.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy.
So you guys have any upcoming events or anything coming up this summer?
We do have one this summer. It's our first annual Pride Summer Festival. So June is National Pride Month.
Right.
So we're having an event on June 10th from 6 to 10. It's a fundraising event, but we're going to be having a DJ. We're going to be having food, drinks. It's a 21 and over event, so it's going to be really fun. And it's just going to be a celebration of the LGBTQ community. 33% of the youth that Cocoon House serves identify as LGBTQ+. That's another reason why they become homeless is, the families aren't accepting, or sometimes the youth just feels like the family's not going to be accepting and runs away from the home. So this event's going to be a fun one, for sure. And then we also have our annual Silk Dinner and Auction that's going to be on October 6th.
Okay.
And that's one of our biggest fundraisers.
Fantastic. We'll have all that information on the website. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh. That's pretty amazing. So thank you guys for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back, we're going to have the Riley Johnson Team Market Update, where we're going to be discussing, what are we discussing, Mom?
We're discussing, we'll tell you when we get back. Let's surprise them.
Stay tuned. Hold your breath because it's going to be good. To find out about any topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Homelessness has become a crisis in our communities, and youth homelessness is on the rise all over Washington State. It's time to come together and break the cycle of homelessness. Learn how Cocoon House, a local nonprofit serving at-risk and homeless youth, is breaking the cycle of homelessness in our community by visiting cocoonhouse.org or calling 425-259-8502, extension 103.
Are you looking for an edge in this competitive real estate market? Sheri Putzke with Windermere Real Estate is here to help. A top agent on the east side with 12 years local experience and over 70 closed transactions in 2016. She can expertly help you navigate the sale of your existing home for top dollar or the purchase of your next. Sheri's success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she greatly values the relationships that continue well after the keys exchange hands. There's no shortage of agents out there. Make sure you're working with the one that has your best interests at heart. If you're ready to love where you live, please contact Sheri for a no-cost consultation at 425-749-6703 or visit her website at SheriPutzke.com. That's SheriPutzke.com to learn more about how she can help you achieve your real estate goals. Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the Ultimate Home Buying Experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Talk radio for the heart and soul. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Financial Fitness Northwest, live on 1150 KKNW. It's now time for the Riley Johnson Team Market Update. We are dedicated to provide the tools you need to make informed decisions and how today's events in our local economy can affect your buying power. So first, we should say that it is June 1st, and it is National Home Ownership Month.
Yes, it is.
So
Go buy a house.
If you're not in the club, you want to join the club, the home ownership club, right?
It's the best club to be in.
It is, yeah. So today we thought we would just share a little bit about listing your home for sale and why it is an awesome time to sell your home.
I think everyone probably knows. It's awesome because it's a seller's market. Buyers, there's just not enough demand. There's so much demand and not enough inventory. And so, sell your house so somebody can buy it because they want to buy your house.
That's right. And you can get pretty good money for your house right now, too. So that last month's dip in closings was somewhat expected because there was such a strong sales increase in March at 4.2%, and the new existing inventory is not keeping up with the fast-paced homes that are on the market. So there's just too much.
They're coming off the market.
Yeah,
their houses are selling so fast.
There's
exactly. Just not enough inventory. So definitely it's time to sell, and maybe it'd be good to mention some things you can do as a seller. I think some sellers are hesitant too about selling their house because where are you going to go? Everything's selling so fast. Who knows what's going to be on the market once your house sells, right? But you could do, you could buy a new construction from Sheri.
That's true.
Or you could do a rent back. So you could sell your house with like a 60-day rent back. Gives you more time to find a home. And I don't know. That's becoming a little bit more known, but still a lot of people don't know about that, and a lot of agents aren't, selling that. But your house is in high demand. Somebody is going to buy it, whether they have to wait 60 days to take possession or not. And that gives you the opportunity to have more time to find your dream house.
Absolutely. So definitely a great option for you. Some people are just, maybe they're snowbirds. They're ready to head, they want to maybe, I know it's summer now, but maybe they want to sell their house and, go to Arizona, whatever. Yeah. It's a good time to sell, even if you're buying or not buying locally or out of the area. But a couple of statistics we wanted to share with you is that currently there is a 4.2 months supply of homes for sale. And so it is very, very low, which again is why there is so much need for more inventory, more people to sell. So just to give you a little bit of a breakdown, so anything less than a 5-month supply is considered a seller's market. About 5 to 8 months is generally considered to be a balanced market. And then if it's 9 months or more inventory, it's considered to be a buyer's market. So we are very short of a normal market right now, which is why we need more listings.
And those numbers, I'm assuming that's probably the national average, because here in the greater Seattle area, it's probably more like a month or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the national average. But here in Washington, I mean, it's the most sought after area to live, surpassed San Francisco recently. And so it's crazy. But there's really, I think, maybe a month or 1.2 months inventory available in all of the greater Seattle Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really critical.
It's a great time to sell your house. You're going to get the top dollar, and it's going to sell really quickly as well. So, and you know what? Honestly, we're in June now,
I know.
which is why it's called Buyers, Homeownership, National Homeownership Month, is because everybody wants to buy a house in the summer so they can set their kids up for school next year. So now is the time to list your house.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
There's lots of people that want to buy it.
Lots and lots of people. They're all out there. They're waiting. They are ready for you.
So I guess over about a year ago, just to give you a comparison, what's this? Last 6 months average was down 7.5% from last year of what the inventory was.
Yes.
Yeah. And then over the year, it's down 7.25%.
Yeah.
So we're down last year over this year. We're down even more in inventory.
Even more. So it's just, yeah. So I guess in summary, if you are considering selling your home, it's a great time to do it. Talk to an agent like Sheri, and she can help you prepare for...
Or your local lender, like the Riley Johnson team.
Absolutely.
Who can help you find out what you qualify for and strategize for your home sale. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. We hope you found the information valuable and enjoyed our show today. To learn more about our show or guests we had in studio, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com. Please go on our website to learn more about Sheri and Julio with Cocoon House, and tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.